it's making. And that's one of the other noises it makes. It's not good. Not good at all. So this is a fresh AP2 motor we put together for this car. Basically just went through and refreshed it, put all new parts in it, new gaskets, went through the head and everything. So everybody likes ITBs, so let's go ahead and put the video on these for a little while and play some music. You guys can look at these ITBs. Everybody loves these things. Alright, enough of that. So the motor has to come out, and then the new motor is going in with a new clutch. This is the Skunk 2 Mega Power exhaust manifold. We're going to keep that. That's a good manifold. He wants this back, this part here he doesn't want, so that might get repurposed. There might be a handful of parts we can use as spares. Everything else will go to be recycled. Alright, motor's out. Now you can get a good look at that header. Looks cool, right? It's a complicated looking header. They actually discontinued this. This was the Mega Power, and they changed to the Alpha Mega, which you've seen in our regular videos. These come down here. Basically the primaries are shorter. Well, I never got to see a back-to-back to see actually what it did, but I don't know how much more power this header made, but they did discontinue it. And the Alpha Mega is about half the cost of what this one used to be. And of course, you know, this one looks complicated, but if it's not power producing, why keep making it? This has to come off here. We'll split the engine and transmission, put the new engine in the same spot here, drop it on those engine mounts, and then start assembling everything around it. Like I said, this individual throttle kit has to come off. He wants that back. Urge. Everything else he's not interested in. Alright, transmission's off. Don't know what kind of clutch that is. I know yellow is ACT, white is Clutch Masters.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen bright green.
Who makes the red one? Doesn't Center Force make red one?
Yeah, Center Force is red.
So
Comp is black.
Yeah. Alright. Again, individual throttle bodies are taken off. He wants that back. The rest of it he doesn't want. So I guess we'll leave that on. We don't know what clutch it is. We don't know what kind of condition it's in. We'll just leave it. We're putting a brand new clutch kit on it. Is it stock head?
Yeah, stock port head.
So stock port head. It's got either a 2.4 or a 2.5 stroke crank from what we know, but something went wrong with it. Started knocking, and he's not interested in saving it, and we didn't want to get involved in rebuilding them. We're not a big fan of all motor cars. It's so much easier to make power with boost, and of course it's easier to deal with. Everything's stock. It's just power on demand, power as you need it. So if you do everything right, you keep the subframe in the exact same position, you lift the engine and transmission off very careful, and you put the new motor on, and you don't disturb the subframe or move it, it still won't line back up with the holes. These three holes here line up with these holes, but it doesn't matter how much you try, they don't line exactly back up. But it's pretty easy. This moves around. You just basically bump it little by little while you get the bolts to line up, and then it'll go in there for you. So this is the motor came out. The radiator hoses are kind of hard. They made a creaking sound when we bent them over earlier. So we need to replace these. The question is, do we put OEM ones on there or Skunk 2? What do you got in your hand, George?
You said hoses?
OEMs?
Yep.
So this is the replacement motor. and before somebody goes, wow, that valve cover looks terrible. Well, it's because we have a chain going up against it, and we anticipated it.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Don't scratch it, George.
We want to do that on the new valve cover. So.
Do not scratch it. We anticipate putting a new valve cover on, so this is a dummy valve cover. So it doesn't matter if our chain rubs it. Hopefully that answered that question. So this motor mount is in good shape, right?
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
That one's pretty good. This one's busted.
Not 100% yet, but it's on its way.
Yeah, it's going to separate, especially with more horsepower. So we have a couple of motor mounts that we can replace, some really, really nice ones. We'll replace those. That's one less thing he has to worry about. Oh yeah, motor mounts are very good, but they're pretty pricey. So on the S2000 engine mounts, the cool thing is the left and the right is the same part number. So obviously whichever mount breaks, just order an engine mount. Just to show you, a lot of people don't see this, this metal plate here, it goes on the top and it has these locating pins. It goes like this and it lines up in that tab. Well, the idea of this is if that mount splits all the way around, this one's split, but let's say it completely separates, this is almost like a hook. It actually pulls up on this lower portion of the mount. And this is a metal disc in here, this part is rubber, and that's what it pulls up on. So even when these motor mounts are broken and people are, you know, getting on it heavy and bumping through the gears and you feel a little bit of a thump, it's not metal on metal. I mean, Honda's done such a good job. Even that is rubberized. It's awesome. It's such a clever design.
Real close?
Yep, just keep going. I'm 3 inches up from my side.
Okay. Started.
You ready in the hole?
Yep.
Alright, I'm lined up, just come on down. Alright, hold it. Try and get the angle a little bit better. Okay. So it's getting the Clutchmasters billet flywheel and the Clutchmasters FX300, and these old mounts can be recycled. We don't use anybody else's aftermarket bearing, they all fail. We've tried everybody's, they all fail. Nichi is the one that Honda supply when you buy a brand new car, or if you buy a clutch from Honda, it's the Nichi. Also, when doing a clutch, it's not like you're gonna do this thing every week, so anything related that looks bad, replace while you're in there. That includes this guy right here on the S2000. It bolts in the transmission like this, and the release bearing actually slides on this. Well, as you see here, when the incorrect grease is being used, this thing wears out twice as fast, and then the release bearing actually rubs on this and it's like a hump, it has to pass over it. So in that case, if it looks remotely bad, replace it with a brand new one. These are cheap compared to the labor to pull it out and do it again. Do it once, do it right. Also something to look at right here, these splines, they will often get full of clutch material. In this case, they're pretty bad. A little bit of WD-40, use a wire brush. There's a wire brush used for the end of a drill. I know that. Just can't find my little brush. But what you're doing is taking the junk between these out. You get it out the spline. That way the disc is actually sliding on this spline right here. So when you press the clutch, you're actually releasing the pressure plate from the disc, and that clutch needs to slide on here. That's why this needs to be in good shape. That's why you put a real light amount of grease on here. It's also why you want to get the junk out between these ribs here. So this mount, not only was it not connected, after we did get it out, we found out it was actually broken. See here, pad was broken. Well, it wasn't bolted in anyway. So we actually have a almost brand new one. Look at this, it's mint. So we're gonna go ahead and put this thing on. It is very, very low mileage. Came out of an almost new transmission. So this will fix that problem. Alright, so remember I mentioned that trying to line that back up. The new motor is together, it's on the transmission, the clutch is in, wiring harness is on. Now we have to see how close this is to the car. Back one is started. Front one.
I'm at a tad bit of an angle. How are you looking?
It looks like it needs to go your way, just a smidge.
Can you give it a little kick there?
Kick it right about.
Perfect.
Oh, there? Yeah. So this crossover tube here is the aluminum tube that actually connects to the water line of the manifold. George has actually worked on it and got it a little bit better, but as you see, it's still, you know, it's all kind of crooked, and the problem is these often leak. So we ordered another one of those, and of course it is in the California warehouse, which means you either get it in 8 days or you pay expedite and you have it tomorrow. So we overnighted that. The fuel lines, it did have an AN rail, and it did attach to this end where we're running a factory line fuel rail. So we had to come up with a fit-in to go from this banjo to the dash 6, which is here. That did go over here, so we needed this fit in here, which is this guy right here. I just picked this up. So we have to remake this line, and then it'll attach to here. The feed, the return, it had an external regulator, and the return is down there. It's pushed onto a barb. It looks like it should be fine. We'll pull that out, make sure the line doesn't look damaged, and it should go back on that regulator.
So bugged out these days. I don't understand the way the phones are designed. I'll tell you. Song number 2, Ashley.
So we are actually known for our unboxing, so I don't want to make this any different. I want to give you a detailed review, maybe test it, maybe install it, take it back off, test it again. This is the piece of hose that was damaged on that car. So these guys earlier in the video, they always look silver and kind of galvanized. Even on the really, really low mileage cars, they always look in really rough shape. This is such an easy mod, and I like it. Sand them down, prime them, use them epoxy, satin black. Look how good that looks. So these holes always get rusted out. I should have shown you this many times in the past, but we're so used to just tapping these out just so the new bolt goes in nice and smooth. But so many cases, the bolts are hard to come out, and on occasion, the bolt will snap, which really sucks. Because now you gotta fix it. You gotta drill the old one out, take it out, re-tap it. So it's kind of a habit now. Run a tap through there, then when we put the bracket on, we can put a nice new bolt. Alright, so don't forget to put the rubbers back in the middle if you do paint your brackets. And the bolts I like to use are the M6 button heads, 16 millimeters long, and we use the fender washer. There's a bunch of different fasteners out in the market and some fancy ones. We like these. They're just simple, clean, and of course we're not going to worry about them rusting, and of course they're going to look kind of nice. See how much better that looks. Imagine what it looks like when I tighten it up. Alright, so we've said this so many times, I feel like a broken record. What color are we going to do the piping? We kind of have a deal where you drop off the car, we choose the piping color, and we don't charge it, we pay for it. It just gives us a little bit of creative style. Don't look at this. This is going to go black. I know it looks terrible.
Oh, come on.
It's not replaced.
You don't like that?
Actually, if we clear coat that, there is like a style where you get like a beat up truck and clear coat it to keep it looking like
It's patina, guy. It's a fresh patina.
It's actually setting. We'll just welded this into the Scotch Brite. It actually doesn't look bad. Setting. Polished is kind of cool, but it takes more work to keep up on. So we're not going to do polished. This is silver, this is silver, this is going to go black, this is going to be black. Do we want to do them black, or do we want to do them a color?
I don't know yet.
Let's see. You see these water bottles? Let me show you real quick. Let me get the camera and make a bunch of... These all come in damaged. Like this one has a hole here. It's like they dry rot here. We have to be extra cautious. If we have a pressure washing engine, we can't hit the pressure washer on that because they literally explode. So I think I'm going to call Honda and see actually how much these are and keep them in stock. So keep that in mind if you're doing work with us and you want one of these. I'll try and keep it in stock, and that way if you get a call and we say, hey, do you want to buy one of these, yours is correct, you're not shocked. Plus that makes that look bad. So that's the color we decided on. Figured to kind of bring out the silver. Plus being a silver car, we haven't done a silver car with silver pipes. And it'll kind of bring out the engine bay. It's got a black valve cover, and of course the black bracketry. It should stand out. I think you like it. A sound clip of our Stealth exhaust. See, it sounds so much quieter and it looks completely stock. Hence Stealth, right? I think it is. I'm happy with that one.
Huh?
I said I'm happy with that one. That one definitely sounds quiet, doesn't it?
That sounds amazing. I think that's a winner.
Yeah. Well, we do call it our Stealth exhaust.